All right, let's start the day with Kyle Shanahan, who was the subject of a lot of rumors this past week about his future with the Niners. They were speculated upon by, I don't know, somebody on this show, not named me. An NFL writer suggested the Bears should look to trade for him. San Francisco snapped their 3-game losing streak yesterday by destroying the Bears. And I mean pummeling them in an embarrassing fashion. And then afterwards, Shanahan talked about his future in San Francisco.
I don't want to be any place in the world more than here, and my family feels just as strong, if not a lot stronger. So, I hope you guys are gonna have to kick me out of here. So there's no way I'm making that decision.
Just saying.
Go for it. Go ahead. Come on. Take that mulligan.
Well, I mean, I will say this. When you're a franchise that's in disarray, the Chargers had a good roster, but the coaching situation was a mess. You had to hire a culture guy. Detroit was a mess. Yeah. They hired a culture guy. San Francisco was never a mess, even when they had the wrong coach. It's smartly owned, well-run mostly. So he's a scheme guy. I don't even know if he would be a perfect fit in Chicago. I think Jim Harbaugh is what they need. Chicago's such a mess. The Jets are such a mess. That's why I think Mike Vrabel, either Jets or the Bears, works, because he's beyond a scheme guy. He fixes the culture. There's a physicality to it.
Doesn't Shanahan work anywhere, Colin?
Oh, I think he would work anywhere, but I'm saying his take is, why would I leave a well-owned and run operation? But I get Chicago getting on the phone. You can't just go get Ben Johnson. You've done that. Yeah. Matt Nagy made the playoffs twice, but he's not a culture changer. Chicago's in a different... The Jets in Chicago, it's beyond just getting a guy that can scheme up plays.
I've softened my stance. I'm looking at my notes for the numbers yesterday. So during games, we take notes. I have at halftime, it was 315 yards to 4.
Yeah.
For the Niners against the Bears. 4 yards in the first. I didn't believe that. I was like, that can't be. So you fire your coach. You've got all this talent. Everybody's supposedly happy Eberflus was gone. And you don't show up at all?
All right. I want to talk about Shanahan and the 49ers, because I always thought that was like the dumbest take ever, that that Shanahan is going to go just leave the 49ers, right? Leave that stability, leave that culture, leave that fan base, leave the Bay Area. I mean, it's just, and you're going to go to Chicago with just messy ownership, messy just front office. No one can figure out what's going on there. It's just a mess, honestly. Chicago itself. I mean, listen, all cities got problems, but for the most part, when you're rich and living that high life, it's not so bad to live in Northern California, okay? And that's why he even said his family and all of that. Like, this is where Shanahan wants to be, and this idea that he would be like, Brock Purdy, we're gonna have to pay him, and Debo and Kittle are getting older, I'm gonna abandon ship and go over to the Chicago Bears. Like, that take never made any sense to me. None. And there would be really no reason, and I think Shanahan will continue to evolve and grow and improve as a head coach, but I think he has the ability to do so with the 49ers and doesn't have to go to another team to get that done, quite frankly. And I just think Shanahan is so embedded with the 49ers that the 49ers are kind of like, man, even if we lose or have some losing seasons or whatever it may be, it's like you are here with us to figure it out, because we won't, the blame doesn't stop and start with you. And so losing Shanahan would be, just awful. And of course the Bears should want him. And I don't understand what Colin is saying about needing that culture guy and just needing this more, alpha force to be reckoned with. And that's not necessarily who Shanahan is. And so I don't know if Shanahan could just build a culture from the ground up necessarily as some of these other big personality guys, but that's not who the 49ers are. And that's not what the 49ers need. And so I think Shanahan is still in a great spot where he is, and the 49ers are as well. This year did not go as they wanted to. They were really in trouble with injury, really got into some trouble with some injuries. I still think that they can be special and dynamic, and if they get into the playoffs, who really wants to face the 49ers in that offense? Who's not going to be afraid of that offense and what they can do. And Shanahan, you just know he's not going to be outcoached against anyone in the NFC. You know, he's just not. And no, the only person who could even outcoach him is realistically Andy Reid, and that's because Andy Reid is the Andy Reid, and Spags is obviously an unbelievable defensive coordinator. So, but outside of that, you're gonna have trust in Shanahan. So, I think this is one of those things where people are looking for answers for why the 49ers season has not unfolded how they wanted to. And for whatever reason, people love to just say injuries are not, injuries are an excuse. Everyone's injured. Every team has injuries. And that has always been absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Look no further than why do they pay players so much money? If it didn't matter, you wouldn't need to pay these players the amount of money that they would, because you just move on from them and you'd get another one. So obviously when players are injured and you're using second and third string guys, that should be the most obvious point ever. Yet again, people still just want to say, oh, everyone's injured. What about the Chiefs? What about this team? What about that team? And it's like, oh my God, it's insane to me. Honestly, it really, really is. And coaches bring special. They bring their own brand of special, just like quarterbacks. We know some quarterbacks can run. We know some quarterbacks are really strong. We know some quarterbacks are deadly accurate in the deep ball. They all have their different skill sets, just like coaches do. And Shanahan, his scheming is special. That is what makes him elite. That is what makes him a top coach in the NFL. He needs to evolve maybe a little bit more and be more adaptable. And we'll see how that unfolds. Hopefully that was maybe a lesson that he learned this season, more so, and more of kind of like, okay, I need to kind of figure out a way through this, how to be a little bit more flexible and adaptable when players go down. Maybe not be so reliant on a dynamic running back who can run and catch to be able to scheme stuff. And I just think that the 49ers actually have a vision. I think you got to trust them to be able to get the job done come time the off season. And understand that football is just not linear, and it's not 100% once you reach this peak, once you reach this level, that you're just automatically going to stay there. That's just not the case. And so you're going to have some of these drawbacks. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have down years. You're going to have years that disappoint you. And that's just football, man. That's just the way it works in the NFL. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the 49ers and Shanahan? Do you think Shanahan should want to stay with the 49ers? And do you think the 49ers should want to keep Shanahan? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.